Hello everyone. Today I wanted to go over a little look at replacing gray boxes. I've gotten to this step on a few videos, but today I really wanted to go and show off a at least alright standard basic one. And now we're going to take this and actually replace it with meshes. So what I did is I actually took these in, then I used the modeling mode with the SM cubes in order to cut them out using booleans. And then other ones I just built with tons of little cubes. Because you really want to kind of shape it, because when you're doing the environment design, the level designer will gray box these, and then the environment artist is expected to swap them out. In a lot of cases, they'll actually have to model something that fits in that place. So if you're making a bench, let's go ahead and make one real quick. You'll want to go ahead and be able to do something using let's go ahead and use SM cube. So I would want to be able to take this cube, shrink it on down, make these little legs with it, get roughly the proper size. And if you're wanting to do a proper blockout or gray boxing, you want someone who will actually go in and build it properly out of these little meshes. With those in place, I would duplicate up and lift up, kind of stretch a little bit. And that quick, I went from having just a few cubes to building a little bench. It's not the best, but it shows off what I'm talking about. So you would want to build things like these, and you can click all of them, and then hold Control and hit G. So once I've clicked all these, I can hold Control and hit G. Now it's grouped them together. So whenever I click it, I can move it around, or I can duplicate it, and then I can use this multiple times. So you just build it one time, and now you've created your own little thing that you can use all over your map to be able to show the environment artist where these little benches would go. And then they would go through and they'll either use the meshes from the packs that you have, or they'll actually go through and model it. Like the fan up here, they would model this. But yeah, I actually went through and built small little furnitures, a TV over here, the stand, and everything. So we're going to go ahead and go through and replace all of these with the proper meshes. So with these, I knew I wanted some kind of sofa, so I built a little sofa out of this, and that'll tell the environment artist, okay, well, we need a little sofa, we have a designated area. I can kind of measure out if I go up here and kind of delete all the ceilings, and then if I go over here to perspective, I can go to top, and then from here I can switch from wireframe to lit mode. And now I can use the middle mouse button to kind of measure the area. So how much space do I have from here? I would go down. I could measure, got 192 in the Unreal units, I believe is centimeters or millimeters. I can't remember which one at the moment. But from there, with that measurement, they could go through and replace them with a mesh that fits, or now knowing the space they have to be able to model in, they can actually model a whole new one. I've already got a few meshes available, so I won't be going through any modeling. So knowing my space, I should have room for a double-edged sofa. So there we go, little double seat sofa. And then right here, I know I've got a little bit less room, so I'll go with a single one. So there we go. Now they've matched size. Down here, I've got a little spot for a rug, so let's go ahead and look for a rug. So I can delete this, and let's go ahead and place it. Let's not use that one, because I got another one I want to place. So let's use a little orange one, kind of lay it in here. You go, a little orange one, kind of flatten it so those bumps don't overdo. I can expand it. There we go. Yeah, it just kind of fills the area with a bit more stuff. Oop. Then we got our TV over here, so let's go ahead and replace the TV. So I know I've got all sorts of TV stands, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this and place a new little TV stand. And because I've already got the Greybox built out, I know that the area I should be able to walk through here. If I can't, I can just slide this a little back because I gave myself plenty of room. There we go. And now the player should be able to easily go through there. Over here we have the TV, so I can delete the TV, replace it with a new one. There we go, it's backwards. There, it fits where it was supposed to be. There we go. And we've got little posters over here. So poster. I know I got a regular poster right here I can fit up. So that way the wall isn't flat. And then let's go with paint. Weird. Painting. So I left a spot here for like a little painting that can fit on the wall or another flat poster. There it is. So I would want to use this one. I've used it in a few videos, but it's just because I actually kind of enjoy this. So there we go. So now I've got that placed, and then I left myself enough room if I wanted to place something else, which I will. I'll go ahead and place this little bird one right here. There we go. Now we've already replaced this little gray box area. It's simple as that, as long as you've already got the meshes. Like I said, then it's just modeling in new stuff that goes in there. Over here, I've gray boxed it to look like another little chair. I would want it to be a reading chair, so let's go with, oh, I forgot the H, with another chair. And let's go with a more reading style chair. So there's a rocking chair. Let's go ahead and use that. Apply to all, boom. Little rocking chair. So now we got a little rocking chair in the corner. And then for this, I wanted a little coffee table over here. So let's go ahead and delete these. And now let's type in table. I kind of want it to match this style, so let's go ahead and use the table from the apartment pack. And there we go. Now we got a little table right here. It's actually got that little second floor on it, so that's kind of nice. That sits there. And now we got a little table there, our little rocking chair. See, the level's already coming together pretty nicely. I know it's just a simple room and a simple blockout / gray boxing, but I really wanted to show what it's like to go through between those. So I had already done my level design portion of setting everything up, so when I came in here for the environmental design, it's already ready to go. So now I can come over here, and I know I want a lamp right here, so lamp. So I've already kind of built it using cylinders, put them in place. We just kind of place a lamp there. So now if somebody wants to read here, I like the angle of this rocking chair, there we go. So now we got a little reading nook over here. And then right over here we got a bookcase. I full-blown built a bookcase out of little SM cubes. So let's type in bookcase, make sure we got one. Bookcase. It might be a bookshelf. Yeah, bookshelf. So we knew we wanted one, so now I can just take this, replace this with an actual bookshelf. And then, of course, we would line it up with little books. And since we had a bookshelf, a lot of them will come with books that fit in there. And now I just line it up with little stacks that I want to use. There we go. Let's go with the top one as well. Set this one there, and that will be our last little set of books there. Then we can just put some little models in there or something, like a little statue. If we have any, just kind of give little props to put in there. Because I gave myself a little bit of extra space. I don't want a bottle of oil in there, that'd be weird. But what if we have a little box in there? There we go, just a little box. There, so now we got a bookshelf, we got a little reading area. Maybe some flowers right here if we have them. Yeah, we got a little plant right there. But yeah. If you don't like this poster because it doesn't fit the style, we can always swap it out for a frame. I would want to use a bigger frame because I kind of like the idea of this being a one picture right there. I can just take this and kind of grow it a little bit. There we go. Maybe put a little frame over here. And then our little plant pot. Put a plant in there because we gave ourselves plenty of space to play around with. And because I didn't fill it with too much stuff, it gives the environment artist a little bit of leeway to play with. So like I had the table there, but I didn't put something on there because I didn't have a specific set in mind, which gave the environment artist something to play with. So there we go. Now we got a nice little nook over here that's looking beautiful. Everywhere is built together. You got your little gathering area and your little private reading area. And another spot I could put a light if I want to. Then we can come over here, and I've already built a little fridge so they know, okay, so I can replace this with a fridge. I already know that the refrigerator is supposed to go there. So there we go. We got our fridge, and I can either make it adjust to have that cabinet there, or if it's not really prevalent to the story, they can go ahead and remove it, or they can model a whole new one to fit exactly what I was building. It might not be the same exact art style. They don't seem too conflicting. I would likely change this texture though. But the oven is being connected to. I just know that I wanted some cabinet space and an oven. As long as it all fits together still decently well, it should be fine. Now I've got our little stove. We modeled it, we built it out of little cubes so that way they knew to put it there. And then we would take this cabinet, find a little bit smaller one to go on the other side. Possibly swap out the one right here with a sink one as well. Now I've got the sink in place. I really like the sink that sticks out. So this is probably one where I would have the modeler model one for it. But this works for now. And I could use this while the modeler goes through and models it. This will give us plenty of area to play with. We got our sink, we got a little area for them to cut up with, we got the stove, we got the refrigerator. So we got all the key components that we blocked out and set up for. Because that extra little cabinet space, it's fine to replace. It's not that big of a deal. We go through table. I know I want a table here. I wanted a little dining set, so I can go boom, boom, boom. So I know I wanted a table and 3 chairs. So I can go ahead and delete all of these. So a dining set, table. And I knew I wanted it in front of the window, because I had already told them that. And then a dining set chair. So now I've got the table and 3 chairs. And of course I would go through and probably change these textures to more match the white tone in the house. And I could probably get that window over a little bit more. Let's go ahead and grab all 3 chairs on the table and slide it over just enough for the other one to not be in the living room area. So we keep the dining room a little separate. And then I got another rug here, so let's go ahead and swap out the rug. Let's go ahead and delete this and set a new rug here. There we go. Nice little rug going on. And then this is just a little dining table. This is just a little table over here for decorations. Or in case they wanted to set something on there and needed extra space for like family gatherings. So I could have done this, or since I got a bit of extra space and I could use some areas to place, I'll put a little table here with a drawer. Not this one, that one doesn't really match the style. And of course, you'll have to be keeping track of that all the time. That one's a bit better. So there we go. We got a nice little table right there. Clean it up. Then, like I said, you would want to go into these models, kind of adjust their color. So this one's a bit blue. So I'm going to drop the saturation. There we go. Little cleaner top, white boards. There we go. Do the same with the chairs, of course. We go into it, go into the texture. We can drop the saturation. And now we've got these cleaner, less blue. If I wanted to, I could take the time to separate the wood and the blue, but since I'm just swapping out the block out for this video right here, I'm not going to worry about that. So let's go ahead and swap this out now. Frame. Actually, I can just right click here, browse to asset. And now let's go ahead and put a big one right here that's nice. Mountains. And there we go. So with that quick, I took that Greybox because it was already designed, and instead of just coming in here without a plan, the level designer went through and blocked out everything, so I blocked out everything myself. Environment artist, or you would come in as the environment artist. You would determine what needs to be modeled, what works really well. And of course you would go through, work on the lighting, add the little details. So I would want a little plugin slot right here. So because I have the plugin slot, I can actually go ahead and go and do this. And then of course you could do things like add in the socket. Just go as detailed as you want. There, now I've got a little socket going on, and I could take the time to blueprint a cord that comes over and attaches to the TV, and so on and so forth. And there's just so much you could get into. The little dust on the ceiling. But yeah, we've still got the fan to replace, so let's look up fan. And I've already got a blueprint built for it, so I can just delete this. And now I can drop in my blueprint. Grab my little light, lower it down a little bit. And then I can turn this on. There we go. So now I've got an actual fan in there. But yeah, so I got 4 blades. The new fan has 5, which is fine. If it fits well, you'll notice that I built 4 blades. I actually took the time to build a cylinder inside of a cylinder inside of a cylinder inside of a cylinder with a cylinder. I used some cubes for the fans. That is how I built a little shape. Then I took that, and now I've got, the fan that I want to use. So there we go. Everything's in. Then they would go through from here, and you would start working on the lighting with everything well placed and replaced. So, because the level designer already went through and made sure everything was traversable. So we've got our door. We go through. We come over here. We should be able to go through right here. If not, we've made sure that we have enough room to be able to slide it over a bit. And now you've got the little paths. Everything flows together real well. Nothing is really in the way. You can reach every little spot. And that was done long before you even started on the meshes. So when done right and in tandem, the level designer and environment artists have worked together to create, and with all that in place, you just get this cohesion that makes this beautiful working map. And that's truly how you get a good level design going, is a good level going, is you get all of these pieces working together. But yeah, I went ahead and took this level, and I had duplicated the Greybox before I swapped any of this out. So if I scroll down here, I can go to the interior Greybox, and we'll see the difference. This is with just the Greybox. So we go back from here, and let's go ahead and have this little camera right here. We'll copy it. We'll go ahead and pilot it into a nice spot to show everything off, and we'll be able to see the difference between the two. So if we go here, let's go ahead and zoom it back. This is it with the Greybox. And then we'll go through to the interior. Save selected. We can paste that camera back in, and we can pilot. And we'll see everything pretty much aligns perfectly to what we had before. But now it's the actual meshes. So we really told everything before we replaced it. It's all about having that consistency and making sure the level design is good enough so that way when the environment is pulled over, it all just works together really well. So yeah, that's how you go ahead and replace the gray boxing or blockout with your meshes and look at them from what needs to be 3D modeled or not. So if I didn't have the little table here that fit like I wanted, the modeler might go in and model it, or I would look through the rest. If I don't have the ability or the time to have that modeled, I would look through and see what other packs I have that have this table. I would import them, and then I would replace them. But yeah, with all this information, I really hope it helps you understand what it means to swap from a Greybox to the actual meshes. Because yeah, the wall was as simple as I just deleted all the walls. I had the measurements done, so I just deleted the walls and replaced them with the actual wall mesh, or you would create a modular set so you could rebuild it. And yeah, I've gone over that in another video. So this one I wanted to replace the actual boxes. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I really hope you learned a lot from it, and I hope you all have a good day.